Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJ Fanatic at soundsforproducers.com. Yo, this video is about mastering with Maximus in FL Studio. So if you notice in that last video, I was struggling. Your boy hasn't used Maximus in a long time. So hopefully this video helps you out for a quick way to master your beat in FL Studio. Check it out. Alright, what's up, y'all? It's DJ Fanatic for soundsforproducers.com. Jumping into this video of maximizing with Maximus. Not maximizing, mastering your beat with Maximus. This is a beat actually that was all made with the Scorpion Sting Volume 1 loop pack. If you notice, we started out with this loop right here, which one? Pad loop 4. So we took that and made it into this. And all the drums and all the other percussion, as well as all from that actual loop pack. And that is available right now at soundsforproducers.com. It's on sale right now, so if you want to grab it, go ahead. And anything that you make with the music, we definitely give you like reposts and show love too, especially on IG. So anyway, let me show you how to master, a quick way to master. There's tons of different ways to master your beat and make it sound really good. If you notice, the end video of this series of making this beat, I actually haven't used Maximus in so long because I use a lot of Ozone 7, and actually I think this is the wrong beat. I think it is. Yeah, I actually did another beat, I think, with another product because I had Maximus on here. But anyway, let's use this beat as an example. Because there's another video that I did. So I've been doing so many videos, it's crazy. But anyway, you can use this beat as an example. Let's just turn off these. This is my usual way. I use Neutron as initiation, initial maximizing. And then I use Ozone 7 to top it off. And I actually split the drums and the sounds into two separate sound groups. And use sometimes Sound Goodizer or Sausage Fattener. That's a cool plugin, and you can kind of like make things hit harder, just sound more present. They're all compression, and you know, if you know what you're doing, you can really make some cool sounds with those, especially with Isotope's products, man. They're crazy. Shout out to Isotope too, man. You guys are just killing it. And you don't really need all that advanced stuff. What I did stress in several videos is always learn what you have with your program. And FL Studio comes with Maximus, I believe with all of them actually, all the different options that ImageLine has. So let's master this beat. Usually what I do first is, well, let's change the snap to grid. Let's just do bar. Is usually master using the chorus of the beat, because usually that's where all your sounds are, and I think this is the chorus. So let's just highlight that. Okay, so that's the chorus, and it's like a really happy beat, but it's all good. So let's do that. So I actually made this chorus very short. So that's the same thing as this. So anyway, let's open up Maximus. You go to you're on your master channel. You bring down your plugins, and Maximus is usually under Dynamics by default. And what Maximus is, it's a limiter / compressor. So what we're going to do is actually use one of your presets. What's cool about their presets, test them out. Definitely try different ones. They're broken down by category as well. If you notice, you want punchy drums, you can use this just on drums or whatever, but we're going to focus on the mastering area. What's really cool, like, you just try the different ones to see which ones you like the most, and then you can apply this method I'm about to show you. So Master 8's cool to start with, so we'll just use that, and let's just hit play. Let's detach that so that way it doesn't keep closing on me. This is before. And notice like how high the threshold is going. Like it's all the way up to like 3 dB, and that's peaking. That's because it's past 0, and you don't want your music peaking like that because you got distortion and other artifacts that happen. So let's turn on Maximus. This is with the preset. Without. So you hear the volume difference, but we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to go by each frequency. So let's start with the lows, and we're going to solo that out. And what you want to do is pay attention to the amount of compression for each area of the song, and also we're going to work with some stereo separation. So let's check it out. Play. It's actually doing a lot of compression already at that point. Usually I'm gonna leave that alone, because if you notice, the compression amount is the white lines that are going down, and you can pause it, play it. So let's pause it right there, and if you notice, the purple is the input peaks. So that's what's going in, and this white is the gain envelope. So it's going past this threshold that we have, so that's why it's showing this compression, and that's why it's bringing up these lower parts of the lower frequencies. So what we want to do, this is enough compression. I'm actually shocked this compressing this much, maybe because of how loud my sounds are in the mixer. So let's and also I used a compressor. I used Sound Goodizer on these groups, so that's probably why the input level is so high. If you don't do that, usually you'll see that it's a lot lower, like maybe around 9. Excuse me, this graph says on here, it says -9. Oh yeah, I was right, around -9 or 8 dB. So let's for stereo separation for the low frequencies, you usually want that tighter. This is the stereo separation button. You don't have to worry about all this craziness because it can be overwhelming if you don't know what Maximus does, or not familiar with it. So anyway, we're gonna move that a little bit to the right. And the reason why I'm doing that, stereo separation, there's a left and right. It's basically what the word says. When you go to your right, you notice it says merged, 81%. So what I'm doing is merging it down the middle. So that way there's no left and right of that particular frequency. And I highly recommend you watch this video, with some good studio monitors or good headphones. These are the Bayer Dynamic D2 990 Pro. These actually are pretty pricey, so I got the lower end ones as well, and also some Sony headphones, but you want to use some really good studio headphones. So if you want me to do a video as well over equipment and stuff, I'll be happy to do that, because I'm a gearhead, and I definitely look for the best materials, best tools for the job. So anyway, back to, so the compression's good for the low end, and that's about good for stereo separation. The only thing about Maximus, you can't see what the stereo separation is doing, but you can hear it. I'll usually just keep that probably all the way to the right for low frequencies, but it's different for every beat that you do. So next we'll go into the mids and see what's going on. So we'll pause it there. Notice there's a little bit of compression already. And you know what? You might want to add a little more. So we can right click and add a node. And this node you actually want to, oops, let's delete that. You can move that up the ladder there. And this is an interesting graph way of doing it, but this is actually your threshold control for the compression. So the node that I created by right clicking, you kind of want to get it right at the peaks. You don't want to compress too much because you're taking away the sound. And then you can bring that down a little and see what's going on. Alright, notice I was messing around with the that's the pre-gain, so you can kind of play around with that, but I don't want to confuse you too much. I added a node just to give it a little more compression and lower the threshold. So here I'm just going to go right to the stereo separation again. And usually with mid frequencies, you want to kind of widen it out a little bit. It depends on the beat and what you're going for. So let's see what we want to do here. And you notice as I was going to the left, which is making it wider for this frequency level, it just sounds fuller with those type of instruments. And then we go listen to it at the end and see how it sounds with everything else. So let's go to the highs, and notice I have my solo engaged, so that way you hear them individually. Now with the highs, notice that it's not compressing anything. That's because there's not that much input going into it. So this is a good example. So what you want to do is, like right around the top of the peaks, you want to right click on this line, right? And that's giving you a node at that level. And then you want to bring down your threshold, this node right here. So let's hit play as I do that. You can also bring that down. Same thing. See? Yeah, same thing. It's been a while, y'all, since I used Maximus. So now, let's pause that. So now you see the green, which is actual output peaks. And we're actually raising those low levels and matching the high peaks. Now you don't want to compress too much on the high frequencies because you lose some of that sound and the sparkle. But I actually brought out the highs really well than what the preset had. But the preset's a great starting point. Like I said, Master 8, and there's tons of different ones in there for mastering. So check it out. And you see what you're compressing up here at the top. So that's how much compression is happening. Okay, so that's the low, mid, and high. And if you really want to get into it further, you can actually go to bands, click here, and then you can actually change exactly what frequencies you want for mid, high, and low. I'm not going to do that in this video, but you can get a little more precise by just going to the bands. And this is actually part of the preset. These are, you know, compression as well, so I won't get into that part of it, but you can distinguish what frequencies you want. So and next we're going to master. So this is all the sounds together. Hearing a little distortion towards the low end, but what you can do also is add a parametric EQ too, and that way you get to hear what's happening as well. You get to see visually what's going on frequency wise. So let's detach that as well. And you can always do EQ before you go into Maximus or after. Like you can even adjust EQ after. So that's definitely a quick way. You wouldn't have to worry about the stereo separation on the master. You leave that alone. Sometimes if it's not loud enough or more present, you can go in post gain and just raise that up a little bit, but this beat actually is pretty loud. You notice it's like input gain is going ham, is going past the threshold without me having to raise the post. And also you can get like a dB meter, that way you get to see really what's going on and how loud the beat is. You can actually use Ozone 7 as just a meter as well, and turn everything else off. Let's do that. You might get some underruns in the video because I am recording and I'm running all these mastering plugins. So let's open up Ozone 7 right quick. This is a little bonus in the video, and actually close that, not that. Open that up again. And let's turn everything off, even the maximizer, the dynamics, and the EQ. And we're gonna just use it just for this meter. So let's see what's going on. Wow. Now, if you notice that I was using Ozone 7 on top of Maximus, Ozone 7 is a mastering plugin, a suite of mastering plugins. And notice that it was actually making it louder and giving some type of distortion. So somehow it's still going through the plugin when it's engaged, even if I had everything off. So that's actually a learning experience. I didn't know it does that. So I would recommend just a meter and not, you know, use another mastering plugin to and I think there's some other meters in here, like let's see, visual, let's see, Fruity dB meter. Let's open that up, see what's popping. Oh, there it is. Only thing I don't like about that, there's no RMS reading. So these are ways that you can actually was it big clock, notebook? No, notebook. I didn't know they made so many notebooks. Wave candy, you can use that. Oh wow, Razor Chroma, Fruity Spectrum Man. I think that's like the dancing image line logo. There's a way to look at it. I think there's a new meter they made. But anyway, there's tons of different plugins that you can get just to read the meter. So you know if your beat is actually like as loud as professionally released releases that are on the top Billboard, or you know that are out on the radio. So that way you can use them as reference. I know you can do that in Isotope, but I thought there was another meter in here that you can use. I really think the Spectrum Man, let's find out. Okay, yeah, Spectrum Man is just a meter based on frequencies to give you some visual of what's going on in the beat. So it's not the dancing thing I thought it was. So anyway, that's a quick way of mastering. Sorry the video is a little too long, but what you can do is do a before and after. So here is before. Let's turn Spectrum Man off and turn Maximus off. This is before. And this is after, with the settings that we ran through. And I'll take it a step further. We'll open up another Maximus. So we're maximized out. And what I'm going to do is turn off the one that we had previously. You can close that. Open up the new one and actually choose the Master 8 preset. This is just a preset without the settings that we did. And now before and after. Notice there's a little distortion, so what we're going to do is compare the one that we did with the settings. And this is the one with just the preset. So you see the difference, and you trust your ear. You know, your ear doesn't lie to you. Just do it in a relaxed state. It's always cool to like mix when you're not rushing. That way you can just really hone in and hear and pay attention to the frequencies and what things are doing. Maximus is pretty easy to learn. Hopefully, you know, the little tips that I showed you in here help. And this little graph area was confusing to me at first to learn, but once you know, get the idea, and there's tons of videos as well on YouTube. But I didn't mention, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that sub button as well as the bell so you get to see all these tips that we show in FL Studio and other things for music producers. And of course, soundsforproducers.com is where you can get plenty of loop packs. We do have a free loop pack. I'll put that in the description, and hopefully, you know, this video taught you a little something. And this comes in FL Studio, so you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff. And I stress again, learn everything you have. You know, learn every tool, every knob, so that way you become a beast with this, and you're able to do magic with the tools that you have. And this stuff is transferable to other stuff, so remember that. So keep making dope music. Again, it's DJ Fanatic for soundsforproducers.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.